Starscreen back. Hello there, Starscreen back for a review. Okay, you've seen the start off, so there's no prizes for guessing who, I'm afraid. And here we go. Blackarachnia. If I am not mistaken, and point this out if I'm wrong, and I know you will, Blackarachnia was the only, well, the first female Transformer to be released. As we know, Arcee was in the movie, she was in Season 3, but Hasbro, in their intense, painfully stupid, narrow-minded, short-sighted company that they are, saw fit not to release her as a toy because their excuse was it wouldn't be popular with the blokes. That's it. I raise my hands, I say no more. Small-minded company. Unfortunately, they obviously let themselves out of a lot of business on that particular figure. But we'll say no more about that. I'm here to talk about Blackarachnia, as I just said, is the first female Transformer to get a release in a toy form. Okay, let's get to how she comes about, shall we? Okay. Tarantulas. He wants somebody he can rely on. He doesn't trust any of the other Predacons. He wants somebody, you know, who's batting for him on his team. Another arachnid, another spider. Okay, so he manipulates another stasis pod with an Autobot, maximal protoform. Thank you. Now, Inferno comes after this. They do that together. So, Blackarachnia is his first attempt. And he puts in this Predacon shell program to manipulate it so it becomes a Predacon. But unfortunately, in doing so, she becomes very untrustworthy. She is so much a Predacon that he can't trust her either. So if he had any plans for somebody he could rely on to bat for his team, I'm afraid he's completely and utterly mistaken and rather disappointed. The only person Blackarachnia looks out for is herself. Typical Predacon. So he should have expected it really, shouldn't he? And he didn't. Well, that's his oversight. In the first season of Beast Wars, she is up there with Tarantula. She's a slight scientist. She's ray manipulating, as she is to a few of the Transformers. Cheetor to start off with, but I'm not going down that route for the time being. I'm going to stick with Blackarachnia. Yeah, so she uses her feminine charms, if you could call them that, with this figure. That's a stretch of the imagination, isn't it? As you can probably tell, the actual figure is just Tarantulas. Now, if I twist the head here, if I get her up to the camera close, all they did, they wanted to bolster up the armies, and Hasbro yet again, ugh, we know what, we'll just release it, and we'll release Tarantulas, slightly recoloured, where you twist the head, and guess what, it's a whole new character. Marvellous! But the animators of the particular show thought, well, there's scope for a character here, a female character, because there hasn't been many of them, and we'll open this up a bit more, and we get Blackarachnia. So that's the original version. She comes into existence through Tarantulas, but as we know, at the end of it, she's only interested in her own ends. Okay, now, Silverbolt tries to bring her round. He tries to bring her to the maximal cause. He feels that there's good in her, and for a start, she thinks he's just an arse. She has absolutely no interest in him, or no time for him. She plays around for a joke, but, you know, just take it or leave it. She's just not interested. If you can do something for her, fine. And if you can't, sod off. But as it progresses, she can't believe he actually has real feelings for her. So it gets to a point where she actually begins to fall for the chap. Hey-ho, what can you say? Okay, so that's pretty much Season 1 Blackarachnia. Now, some of them get transformed into transmetals later on in Season 2. Now, she doesn't, unfortunately. Now, later on she witnesses the transmetal variants, and she kind of wants a bit of that. As she says, I want more power. Okay, so she gets hold of the transmetal driver that Tarantulas has implanted in some of his experiments. She gets hold of this chip, and she starts experimenting on herself. Now, it doesn't initially work. And what she ends up doing is destroying the shell program that Tarantulas implanted in her. Now, this leaves her at the point of going into some sort of coma or mind-wiping thing. Well, the body will be there, but the Blackarachnia that Silverbolt loves will be gone forever. So, Rhinox attempts a very tricky operation. And unfortunately, thanks to Tarantulas, because he knows what he's doing, because they share some sort of psychic connection because of the shell and what he's done to her and his ideas which he had going. It destroys her in the process. But because the transmetal driver starts functioning, she eventually gets the transmetal form that she was after. And here we go. Transmetal blackarachnia, as we see, is a much better toy. Still got a problem though, personally, of all these leg bits going on. Yet I know she's a spider and she's got a lot of legs, so don't point out the obvious, but kind of gets on my wick because these freaking don't know. Look, it's a great toy. I must admit, it's one of it's my favourite variation of blackarachnia. But as you can probably appreciate, it's a little bit back heavy, so we have a tendency for that to happen. Okay, I'll say no more. That probably didn't conjure up too many pleasant thoughts, did it? Yeah, shut up. That's all I can say. This particular figure's quite nice, and she's in the 2nd and 3rd season of Beast Wars. She survives right through to the end, and she makes it back to Cybertron with the rest of the fellas. As I said, I like the toy. She helps out the Autobots. We should stop saying that. Maximals! Talking about Beast Wars here. She helps them out quite a lot. And as you can tell, quite a nice toy. I point out something, and I'll say no more on the subject. Okay, it has a removable bra, and I'm not going to remove it. And that is it, alright? End of story. Okay, so that's Beast Wars taken care of, and she survives all the way through it after becoming transmetal. And Silverbolt likes all the way through it, okay? Mad. Okay, we get to Beast Machines. Now, I'm not going to do a review of Beast Machines yet. And I don't want to go into the storyline too much. Needless to say, she makes it back. There's a lot of to and fro when they get back. When I do a Beast Machine story, I'll let you know how it transpires, okay? But she gets another form, as do they all.